at the IDEX in Abu Dhabi, the Middle East's premier defense conference and exhibition. These sheikhs are largely of the opinion that with problems in the Middle East escalating, a military buildup is needed in the United Arab Emirates. They're spending billions of euros on contracts with Northrop Grumman, Raytheon, and other companies that specialize in defense systems. Meanwhile, the UN is holding its annual Conference on Disarmament in Switzerland. Tim Cawley is director of the Geneva branch of the UN Office for Disarmament Affairs. He's highly critical of events such as IDEX, which he says hinder the UN's work on weapons reduction.
The members of this chamber are concerned about military build-ups wherever they occur. That is the backdrop against which the ultimate, I suppose, is the striving for peace that underpins forums such as this one.
Abu Dhabi is the capital of the United Arab Emirates and home to the world's second largest mosque. The UAE has something of a reputation as a big spender on weapons, so it seems a fitting host for IDEX. This year, nearly 900 exhibitors from 50 countries took part in the show, an increase since the last time it was held in 2007. Two major disarmament treaties signed since the end of the Cold War have done little to stem the sale of arms. One is the Ottawa Convention on the Prohibition of the Use, Stockpiling, Production and Transfer of Anti-Personnel Mines, signed in 1997. And the other is the Convention on Cluster Munitions, which bans the production, stockpiling, use and export of cluster bombs, signed in Oslo last year. We decided to ask visitors to IDEX if they've heard of the treaties. In general, people are unwilling to comment, or they say they would need official clearance to discuss the issue. Nevertheless, we managed to get a few words out of a representative for a leading Turkish contractor, Roketsan.
Did Turkey sign the Treaty of Oslo?
For that I have no information yet. As far as I know, yes, but I'm not sure about that.
Turkey did not actually sign the Oslo Treaty, and the country is a major producer of cluster bombs. Bombs banned under the Oslo Convention, Roketsan makes them. And this is a launching pad.
Is this system according to the terms of the Oslo Treaty?
Yes, of course.
Why?
The ranges are okay with the Oslo Treaty.
The ranges?
Yes, and also the warheads are.
But according to military experts, multiple rocket launchers increase the risk of civilian casualties, which is exactly what the Oslo Treaty was designed to prevent. But cutting-edge technology is one step ahead. British company BAE Systems, for example, maintains that its intelligent surveillance technology for modern warfare can reliably distinguish between military and civilian vehicles, and is therefore not in breach of the Oslo Agreement. The critics beg to differ. In Geneva, we meet up with Brian Wood, Amnesty International's arms control campaign manager. He says breaches occur all the time.
If you go to IDEX in Abu Dhabi, which is the big arms fair going on now, you will find government delegations who are there, whose armed forces are committing almost daily violations of Geneva Conventions, abuses of human rights, and they are given complete access and freedom to go and do deals.
The trouble is that countries that sign treaties on disarmament can still cooperate militarily with non-signatories. Even Germany, which was among the initiators of the Oslo Convention, doesn't have a clear conscience, Brian Wood explains.
On the one hand, the German government wants to prohibit cluster munitions, the common variety. On the other hand, it wants a privileged position to have its own version of the cluster munitions and call it something different. Germany wants to produce a a weapon that is effectively, we think, a cluster munition, but they don't want to call it a cluster munition. So it's called the smart munition.
German suppliers are not presenting these weapons at the Abu Dhabi Arms Fair, nor are they prepared to give us interviews about cluster bombs. The Russian and Chinese companies in town for IDEX are a lot less discreet. Once we've turned off the cameras, they tell us they couldn't care less about Oslo. According to Amnesty International, a weapons delivery to Russia or China could end up anywhere, Africa, for example. The Chinese representatives we talk to shrug off our questions.
The weapon is a weapon, but it depends on the use of the human. If you are using this weapon against the civilians, well, you are the criminals, yes.
Some 100,000 people all over the world have been killed by stray bullets and unexploded ordnance devices since the end of the Cold War. This is what the military terms collateral damage. At the conference in Geneva, participating countries are quick to express their support of disarmament, but the ink drying on contracts at IDEX tells a different story.